Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in your life when you have to stop talking about what you want and start proving what you're willing to do to get it. Everybody has dreams. Everybody has goals. Everybody has something they say they want. But wanting something and working for something are two completely different things. You can want success with everything inside you, but if your daily actions don't match your ambition, that dream will remain exactly where you left it inside your imagination. You can talk about becoming stronger, richer, wiser, healthier, more successful, more focused, more disciplined, but eventually the talking has to stop. Eventually you have to put your head down and work. No excuses, no distractions, just work. You have to understand that excuses are comfortable. Excuses give you an explanation without requiring you to change. They allow you to point at your circumstances and say, that's why I couldn't. Maybe you didn't have enough time. Maybe somebody didn't support you. Maybe you didn't have the resources. Maybe you failed before. Maybe you were tired. Maybe you were afraid. Maybe the timing wasn't right. And sometimes those things are real. Life can be difficult. Circumstances can be unfair. People can make things harder. But there comes a point when you have to stop asking why everything isn't perfect and start asking what you can do with what you have. Because you may not control your circumstances, but you can control your response. You may not control where you started, but you can influence where you go next. You may not be able to change yesterday, but you can change what you do today. No excuses doesn't mean pretending that problems don't exist. It means refusing to use problems as permanent permission to quit. It means looking at an obstacle and saying, this is difficult, but I will find a way forward. It means understanding that responsibility is not a burden. Responsibility is power. The moment you take responsibility for your actions, you take back control. You stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You stop waiting for perfect circumstances. You stop waiting for motivation to magically appear. You decide that your future is important enough to work for. And then comes the second part, no distractions. Because you can have discipline and still lose your focus if you allow everything around you to pull your attention in 100 different directions. Your phone is calling you. Social media is calling you. Other people's opinions are calling you. Entertainment is calling you. Notifications are calling you. Drama is calling you. Comparison is calling you. Every distraction is asking for a piece of your attention. And if you give every distraction a piece of your mind, eventually you have nothing left for the dream you're trying to build. Your attention is valuable. Your time is valuable. Your energy is valuable. Stop giving them away like they mean nothing. You cannot build something extraordinary while constantly interrupting yourself. You cannot focus on your future while spending every free moment watching somebody else's life. You cannot become great at something if you are constantly switching your attention to something else. Focus means deciding what matters and refusing to allow everything else to become more important. There is a difference between being busy and being productive. You can be busy all day and still move nowhere. You can answer messages, scroll through videos, check notifications, watch motivational content, talk about your goals, organize your plans, and still avoid the one thing that actually matters. The question isn't, was I busy today? The question is, did I move closer to the person I want to become? That's the question you need to ask yourself every day. Did I learn something? Did I build something? Did I practice something? Did I improve something? Did I finish something? Did I take one meaningful step forward? Because progress doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes progress is quiet. Sometimes it's sitting alone and studying when nobody knows. Sometimes it's getting up early and working while the world is still asleep. Sometimes it's saying no to an invitation because you have something important to finish. Sometimes it's putting your phone in another room and concentrating for an hour. Sometimes it's going back to the drawing board after a failure and trying again. That's the work nobody sees. And that's the work that changes you. People often want the result, but they don't want the repetition that creates the result. They want the body, but not the training. They want the business, but not the long hours of learning. They want the skill, but not the practice. They want the confidence, but not the uncomfortable experiences that build confidence. They want success, but they don't want the boring days that come before it. You have to learn to respect boring work because mastery is repetitive. Excellence is repetitive. Growth is repetitive. You do the fundamentals again and again until they become part of you. You practice when you feel excited and when you don't. You show up when the work feels important and when it feels ordinary. You keep improving when nobody is watching. That is how you separate yourself. Not by doing something extraordinary once, by doing important things consistently. No excuses, no distractions, just work. There will be days when you don't feel motivated. There will be days when you wake up and your energy is low. There will be days when the dream feels far away. There will be days when you question whether all this effort is worth it. Those days are not signs that you should quit. Those days are opportunities to develop discipline. Motivation is temporary. Feelings change. Your mood changes. Circumstances change. Discipline is what remains when the excitement disappears. You have to become the person who can say, I don't feel like doing it, but I'm doing it anyway. That's powerful. Because if you only work when you feel motivated, you are giving your future to your emotions. You are allowing your mood to decide what happens next. And your mood is not qualified to run your life. Your goal needs a stronger foundation than your feelings. You need commitment. You need standards. You need discipline. And discipline is not about being perfect. Discipline is about returning to the work. If you have a bad day, return. If you lose focus, return. If you make a mistake, learn and return. If you fall behind, return. If you fail, return. Don't let one bad day become a bad week. Don't let one bad week become a bad month. Don't let one mistake become an excuse to abandon your future. Get back to work. You don't have to be perfect today. You just have to refuse to stay down. Think about the people you admire. Think about the people who have achieved something meaningful. You may look at their success and think they were lucky. You may see the finished product and never see the years of preparation behind it. You may see the confidence and never see the insecurity they had to overcome. You may see the achievement and never see the failures that came before it. You are looking at the result. You are not looking at the process. And the process is where everything happens. The process is where character is built. The process is where discipline is developed. The process is where patience is learned. The process is where you discover what you're actually made of. That's why you shouldn't hate the process. Respect it, even when it's slow, even when it's difficult, even when nobody notices, because the process is transforming you into someone capable of carrying the result. You don't just need success. You need to become the kind of person who can sustain success. You don't just need an opportunity. You need to be prepared when the opportunity arrives. You don't just need a dream. You need the discipline to pursue it. That's why you work. You work because preparation matters. You work because your future matters. You work because your potential matters. And you work because you refuse to let distractions steal years of your life. Look at how easily time disappears. 5 minutes on your phone becomes 30 minutes. 30 minutes becomes an hour. 1 hour becomes several hours. And suddenly the day is gone. Then you say, I don't have enough time. You probably have time. You have just allowed your attention to be divided. Time is one of the only resources you cannot recover. Money can be earned again. Opportunities can return. Skills can be rebuilt. But yesterday is gone. You don't get yesterday back. So stop wasting today. You don't have to eliminate every form of entertainment. You don't have to live like a machine. You don't have to work every second of every day. You need balance and recovery. But you do need to know the difference between healthy rest and endless avoidance. Rest should prepare you to return to the work. Distraction keeps you from starting it. Know the difference. If you have a goal, protect it. Protect your mornings. Protect your focus. Protect your energy. Protect the environment around you. Because if you don't protect your attention, someone else will gladly take it. The world is competing for your attention every second. Every platform wants you to stay. Every notification wants you to click. Every algorithm wants you to continue scrolling. But your future needs something from you too. It needs your attention. It needs your focus. It needs your effort. So make a decision. For the time that matters, lock in. Put the phone away. Close the unnecessary tabs. Turn off the notifications. Stop checking what everyone else is doing. And work. 1 hour of focused work can be more valuable than 5 hours of distracted activity. Focus creates leverage. When you concentrate your energy, you become more effective. Think about sunlight. Spread across a wide area, it feels warm. Concentrated through a lens, it can become powerful enough to create intense heat. Your attention works in a similar way. Scattered attention produces scattered results. Focused attention produces progress. So focus, pick the priority, give it your attention, finish it, then move to the next. Don't spend your life starting things. Finish things. There is power in completion. Every time you finish something difficult, you teach yourself that you can follow through. Every time you follow through, your confidence grows. Every time your confidence grows, you become willing to take on bigger challenges. That's how you expand, one completed promise at a time, one finished task at a time, one disciplined day at a time. And don't underestimate small wins. People often think they need a huge breakthrough. They don't. They need consistency. 1 page today, 1 page tomorrow, 1 workout today, 1 workout tomorrow, 1 hour of practice today, 1 hour tomorrow, 1 disciplined choice today, another tomorrow. That's how you build momentum. Small actions compound. The difference between where you are and where you want to be may not be one giant decision. It may be hundreds of small decisions repeated over time. So stop waiting for the dramatic moment. Start respecting the ordinary moment. Your future is built in ordinary moments. It's built when nobody is watching. It's built when there is no applause. It's built when the work feels repetitive. It's built when you choose to stay focused. That's where the transformation happens. And you have to stop comparing your journey to everyone else's. Comparison is another distraction. You see somebody else succeeding and suddenly you feel behind. You see somebody else's body and feel insecure. You see somebody else's business and feel unsuccessful. You see somebody else's lifestyle and start questioning your own. But you don't know their entire story. You don't know their starting point. You don't know their sacrifices. You don't know what happened behind the scenes. And more importantly, their journey isn't yours. Your responsibility is to compete with your previous self. Are you stronger than you were? Are you wiser than you were? Are you more disciplined than you were? Are you more focused than you were? Are you making better decisions? That's the comparison that matters. You don't need to become someone else. You need to become a better version of yourself, and that requires work. You can't think your way into a new life. At some point, you have to act, you have to move, you have to practice, you have to risk failure, you have to learn, you have to make mistakes, you have to adjust, you have to continue. That's why you cannot be afraid of failure. Failure is part of the work. You are going to make mistakes. You're going to make wrong decisions. You're going to try things that don't work. That's normal. Don't make failure mean something about your worth. Failure is information. It tells you what needs to change. Study it. Learn from it. Adjust your approach. Then go again. The disciplined person doesn't say, I never fail. The disciplined person says, I don't stay defeated. That's a different mindset. You can lose a battle without losing the war. You can have a bad day without having a bad life. You can experience rejection without becoming rejected. You can experience failure without becoming a failure. Keep moving. And remember that sometimes you have to work without knowing exactly when the reward will come. That's one of the hardest parts. You may work for months and see little progress. You may practice for a year and still feel like a beginner. You may build something and nobody notices. You may improve and nobody compliments you. Keep going, because growth isn't always visible immediately. A seed doesn't become a tree in one day. The foundation of a building is buried underground. Nobody sees it, but without it, the building cannot stand. Your foundation is being built through the work you do when nobody sees. Your discipline is your foundation. Your habits are your foundation. Your character is your foundation. Your consistency is your foundation. Build it, and don't rush the process just because someone else appears ahead. Your job is to become ready. One day the opportunity will arrive. When it does, you want to be prepared. You don't want to meet your opportunity while you are still making excuses. You want to meet it with skill, with confidence, with preparation, with discipline. That's why you work today. You're preparing for tomorrow. You may not know exactly what tomorrow will bring, but you can prepare yourself for it. Learn, train, build, practice, improve, become capable. And when the door opens, walk through it. No excuses, no distractions. Just work. There will be people that understand your focus. That's okay. You don't need everyone to understand. You need to understand yourself. Know why you're doing this. Know what you're building. Know what your goal means to you. Because when your reason is strong enough, you can tolerate temporary discomfort. You can tolerate saying no. You can tolerate being misunderstood. You can tolerate slow progress. You can tolerate difficult days. You can tolerate sacrifice. But you need a reason. Why do you want this? Why does it matter? Who are you trying to become? What kind of life are you trying to build? What would happen if you stayed exactly where you are for another 5 years? Ask yourself that. What happens if nothing changes? What happens if you keep procrastinating? What happens if you keep choosing distraction? What happens if you keep making excuses? Where will you be? Now ask a different question. What could happen if you became disciplined for the next 5 years? What could happen if you focused? What could happen if you learned? What could happen if you worked consistently? What could happen if you stopped quitting? The possibilities are enormous. You don't need to know exactly what will happen. You just need to know that your current habits are creating your future. And if you don't like your current direction, change the habits. That's where you have power. Change your morning, change your routine, change your environment, change what you consume, change what you prioritize, change what you tolerate, change how you respond. Small changes create different outcomes, and don't wait until you feel ready. Readiness often comes after action. You act, you learn, you become more capable. Then you feel more ready. If you wait until you feel completely confident, you may wait forever. Confidence comes from evidence. Evidence comes from action. Action comes from discipline. So act, even if you're nervous, Even if you're uncertain, even if you don't know everything, take the next step. That's enough. And when you're tempted to quit, remember why you started. Remember the goal. Remember the person you're trying to become. Remember the time you've already invested. Remember the potential you carry. But don't continue blindly if your strategy is wrong. Change the strategy. Keep the commitment. That's mature discipline. You don't have to keep doing the same thing if it isn't working. You have to keep learning until you find what works. Be committed to progress, not ego. If you need help, ask. If you need knowledge, learn. If you need to change direction, change. If you need to rest, rest. But don't confuse rest with quitting. And don't confuse changing your plan with abandoning your purpose. Keep moving. That's what matters. You have to become someone who can adapt without surrendering. Because life will not always follow your plan. Things will go wrong. People will disappoint you. Opportunities will disappear. Unexpected problems will appear. You cannot control all of that, but you can control your response. That's where discipline becomes mental strength. You say, this happened. Now what? Not. Why me? Not. It's over. Oh, not. I can't. Ask, what can I do next? That question keeps you moving, and movement creates possibility. When you're moving, you can adjust. When you're moving, you can learn. When you're moving, you can find another opportunity. But when you sit still making excuses, nothing changes. So move. You don't need to have the entire road mapped out. Take the next step. Then the next one becomes clear. That's how life works. You learn by moving. You grow by doing. You become stronger by facing challenges. So don't run from difficulty. Use it. Let difficulty train you. Let rejection teach you. Let failure educate you. Let pressure reveal your weaknesses. Then strengthen them. Every challenge is an opportunity to become more capable. You don't have to love the challenge. You have to use it. And when you become disciplined, something beautiful happens. You stop needing external pressure. You don't need somebody to yell at you. You don't need somebody to remind you. You don't need somebody to watch you. You become your own standard. You wake up because you decided. You work because you decided. You practice because you decided. You finish because you decided. That's maturity. That's self-leadership. And self-leadership is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Because nobody can manage your life better than you if you refuse to manage yourself. You have to lead yourself first. Before you can lead a company, lead yourself. Before you can build a team, build yourself. Before you can inspire others, learn to inspire yourself through action. Before you can demand greatness from the world, demand commitment from yourself. Your first responsibility is yourself, not in a selfish way, in a responsible way. Take care of your mind. Take care of your body. Take care of your time. Take care of your goals. Take care of your future, because nobody else can live your life for you, and nobody else can do your work for you. They can support you. They can encourage you. They can teach you. But ultimately, you have to execute. So execute. Don't spend your whole life preparing to begin. Begin. Don't spend your whole life waiting for confidence. Build confidence through action. Don't spend your whole life waiting for motivation. Build discipline. Don't spend your whole life talking about what you're going to do. Do it. And when people ask how you changed, you won't have to give them a complicated answer. You can simply say, I stopped making excuses. I stopped allowing distractions to control me. I started keeping promises to myself. I started doing the work. That's it. That's the transformation. No excuses, no distractions, just work. And the work doesn't have to be glamorous. It just has to matter. Do the work that moves you forward. Do the work that builds your skills. Do the work that strengthens your character. Do the work that creates opportunities. Do the work that your future self will thank you for. You don't have to prove yourself to everyone. You have to prove to yourself that you can follow through. That's enough. Because when you trust yourself, everything changes. You become more confident. You become more focused. You become more resilient. You become less dependent on approval. You become less controlled by fear. You become more willing to take action, and action changes everything. So stop waiting for the world to give you permission. Give yourself permission. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Believe in the possibility that you can become better. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Work with what you have. Stop waiting for tomorrow. Use today. And stop asking why you are still where you are. Start asking what you can do to move. Then move. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a version of your life that exists on the other side of discipline. You may not know exactly what it looks like, but you know it requires you to become better, more focused, more consistent, more responsible, more patient, more resilient, more disciplined. And you don't become that person through wishes. You become that person through choices every morning, every afternoon, every evening, choice after choice, day after day, until discipline becomes your identity. And once discipline becomes your identity, you don't have to fight yourself every day. You simply do what you do. You work. You learn, you improve, you recover, you continue. That is the goal. Not to live in constant struggle, but to build habits strong enough that the right actions become normal. So start building those habits today. Choose one distraction and remove it. Choose one priority and focus on it. Choose one promise and keep it. Choose one difficult task and finish it. Then repeat tomorrow. That's how you start, not with perfection, with commitment. And if you fall, return. If you fail, learn. If you get distracted, refocus. If you get tired, recover. If you get discouraged, remember your reason. But whatever happens, wise, keep moving because your future is too important to abandon because today is difficult. Your dream is too valuable to surrender because the process is slow. Your potential is too powerful to waste on excuses. So no excuses, no distractions, just work. Work when nobody is watching. Work when nobody applauds. Work when progress is slow. Work when motivation disappears. Work when the road is difficult. Work when you have to start again. Work because you decided your future matters. Work because you are building something. Work because you are becoming someone. And one day, you look back at the person you used to be and realize that the biggest change wasn't the money, the achievement, the recognition, or the success. The biggest change was you. You became disciplined. You became focused. You became reliable. You became resilient. You became someone who does what they say. You became someone who doesn't need permission. You became someone who doesn't run from difficulty. You became someone who can be trusted with bigger opportunities. And that is the real victory. So when tomorrow comes, don't negotiate with yourself. Don't ask whether you feel like it. Ask what needs to be done, then do it. When distractions appear, remember what they cost. When excuses appear, remember what they cost. When comfort calls, remember what you're building. When fear appears, take the next step. When doubt appears, take the next step. When failure appears, take the next step. One step, then another, until the distance between where you are and where you want to be becomes smaller. You don't have to change your entire life in one day. You do have to change something today and then protect that change. Build on it, strengthen it, repeat it. That's how transformation happens, not through one powerful moment, through thousands of ordinary moments where you choose not to quit. That's discipline, and discipline is available to you. Right now, you don't need permission. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have everything figured out. You need to begin. Begin with what you have. Begin where you are. Begin today. Then work. No excuses, no distractions, just work. Because someday your future self will look back at this moment, and that person will either be grateful that you finally started or disappointed that you kept waiting. Give your future self something to be proud of. Make the decision. Get focused, do the work, keep going, and become the person you were capable of becoming all along. No excuses, no distractions, just work. And when the world tells you to slow down, remember your purpose. When your mind tells you that you're not ready, remember that readiness is built through action. When your feelings tell you to quit, remember that feelings are temporary. When the results take longer than expected, remember that meaningful things take time. When nobody notices, remember that your character is being built in private. When nobody believes, remember that you don't need applause to make progress. Keep going, keep building, keep learning, keep improving. Because the people who eventually achieve extraordinary things are often the people who simply refuse to abandon ordinary disciplined actions. They show up, they work, they repeat, they learn, they adapt, they continue. And eventually the results become impossible to ignore. So make today count, not because today has to be perfect, because today is another opportunity to become stronger, another opportunity to build discipline, another opportunity to focus, another opportunity to move. Use it. Your future is waiting, your potential is waiting, your opportunity is waiting, but none of them can move without you. So get up, get focused, put the distractions away, silence the excuses, and do the work, because you don't need another reason. You need action. You don't need another promise. You need follow through. You don't need another motivational moment. You need discipline. And once you have discipline, you can begin turning your goals into reality one day at a time, one decision at a time, one action at a time. No excuses, no distractions, just work. Now go build the life you've been talking about. Go become the person you've been imagining. Go earn the future you keep dreaming about. And when it gets hard, don't run. When it gets boring, don't quit. When it gets slow, don't stop. When you fail, don't surrender. When you get tired, recover and return, because you are not here just to dream. You are here to build. You are here to grow. You are here to become, and becoming requires work. So work quietly, consistently, relentlessly, intentionally. Work until your habits change. Work until your confidence changes. Work until your skills change. Work until your life begins to change. And when you finally look around and realize that you are no longer where you started, remember what got you there. not excuses, not distractions, not luck alone, discipline, focus, consistency, work, balance, and no excuses, no distractions. Just work and keep going.